They broke your heart because they was hurting. They broke your heart because they didn't know how to love themselves. They didn't know how to love properly. They broke your heart because they didn't want to start the healing process. They broke your heart because they didn't know how to help you, to heal you, to be there for you. They may have broke you, but God was using it to build you. You may have given them pieces of your life, pieces of your heart, pieces of your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit, but God was only using it to build you. Some people threw in a towel on the relationship a little bit too early. They didn't know who you would turn out to be. They didn't know that God was going to build you. They didn't know that God was going to strengthen you. They didn't know that God had his hand over your life. They didn't know that God was sitting at the head of your table. And while people were hurting you, breaking your heart, bruising you, mishandling you, mistreating you, God was guiding you towards his light, towards his love. If it had not been for some people that damaged you so bad, you would have never turned to God. You would have never turned to him for the healing. But you were hurting so bad because you put all your whole heart inside of somebody's hands, believing, trusting in them, that they would keep it safe, that they would keep you safe, that you'd had nothing to worry about. And you turn your back, and a minute later, they got your heart crumbled in their hands. Months later, you sobbing and you weeping over this person because you know you would have never did them like that. And you may have not messed up as much as them, but you still made mistakes in a relationship. But the thing about it is, chosen one, when you make mistakes, you really don't mean to hurt people. You don't do it to get back at people. You don't do it when people hurt you, they hurt you intentionally. They hurt you and they mean it, and you don't try to imitate others. You don't monkey see, monkey do. When somebody hurts you, you're not trying to hurt them like they hurt you. You trying to heal yourself. You trying not to go crazy. You trying to keep your mind in check in order to get over these people. And you love some people that broke your heart. And if you ever love somebody and they broke your heart, this video is for you. You're watching this not by coincidence. It's not ironic. It's for a reason. It's because it's time to heal. You've done enough damage to yourself by not forgiving them. By not just simply the best thing to do sometimes is just to forgive. Now, when you see that person again, you don't hold no hatred in your heart because you don't even remember how they made you feel, because God has taken the place. God has replaced the damage for peace, for love. The best thing you can do for yourself is heal. And there are some people that you are still walking around with these broken, these damages, and these scars, these demonic scars that the devil wants you to carry. You're still walking around hurting from people that hurt you, that you loved. From people that you carried on your back, and they turned their back against you. They turned their backs on you. From people you were on the sideline cheering for, and they were never on your team. They were never on your side. From people you were happy to say congratulations to. From people you were proud of. For people you wanted to be proud of you. You've been hurt so many times in your life by the wrong people. And the reason why you got your heart broke by people that you love is because simply enough, you was not guarding your heart. The Bible tells us to guard our heart. You was not guarding your heart the right way. You gave your heart away to the wrong people the wrong way. Some people you were supposed to love from a distance, you loved up close and personal. They knew everything about you. They knew your first and your last name. They were in your business for real. They were in your drawers for real. And they were never even supposed to get a glimpse of being in your presence, of knowing who you are. The reason why people broke your heart and you love them is not because, can I tell you something, chosen ones? It's time for us to take responsibility. Sometimes it's not because of them, it's because of us. Because we were so gullible with our heart. You have to protect yourself. You have to love yourself in order to protect yourself. And God wanted you to build that love up for yourself. There are some people that you would have never knew how to love yourself unless they showed you how it feels to hurt. Unless you would never know how to love yourself unless you hurt yourself by allowing them to be in your life. You would have never knew what it felt like to say, you know what? I would rather be by myself. I would rather be all alone than to let another person hurt me, than to let another demonic spirit into my life, into my arms, into my bed, into my sheets. And now God has allowed you to be built in the spirit. You don't even know what was happening. You were thinking that it was supposed to break you, but what didn't break you, it only made you stronger. It made you so much smarter because you are very selective on the people you allow in your life. Hear me out. You've learned some lessons. You're not as gullible. And it's not, you're not saying that everybody don't deserve your love, but you're saying that everybody don't deserve all types of my love. You can't go out, you giving the love you were supposed to give to your husband or your wife to a relationship that you're not even supposed to be in. Family that rejected you. You loving them like you're supposed to be loving the family you create one day, but you're wondering why it's not working out. And I'm not saying don't love your family. I'm saying you have to understand how to guard your heart and still love people. There's multiple ways to love people, and God allows some people to break your heart in order for you to get smarter, in order for you to get smart, in order for you to trust Him, in order to bring people into your life. You had to trust God, and now you're depending on God for your relationships. You're not just letting anybody in your life because you know you're not just anybody. You're not just letting anybody sweet talk you because you know you're not just anybody. You're not just moved by every good morning text. You pay attention to when people say they love you. And you're not just so quick to believe people could love you, because you want to know why? Because people said I love you so many times to you, but their actions spoke louder than their words. Their actions left you damaged. And you had to get smarter. You were left in pain by people you should have been healing and keeping it moving. By people you should have just gave advice to, had a once or twice experience with, and kept it moving. You allowed people to stay in your life for years, and they was only supposed to be in your life for a moment in time, for a minute. And you didn't take your relationships back to God. The one thing you've learned in this season now is that I will take every relationship back to God. Because I don't got no time on loving somebody and then being denied their love. You see how God has allowed you to start to come to Him, to depend on Him to give you his godly relationships. You're not just out there making friends with everybody. The people you used to go do hookah with, you're not worried about them no more. You're not trying to go party anymore. Your relationship with God is getting closer. And you're depending on Him more. And God allowed you to go through a season of betrayal. He allowed you to go through a season of you being immature with your heart so that you can get smarter, so that you can get more mature, so that you can be a big girl, a big boy with your heart, with your feelings. Stop giving it out. Stop trying to fit in everybody. Stop trying to be cool and down with everybody. Majority of the time, these people are looking at you trying to see what the advantage is. Majority of the time, these people are looking at you seeing what they can get out of you. and you trying to please everybody, and you trying to be cool with everybody, you trying to look good, and you trying to show off, and you're not even knowing these people don't care nothing about who you are. They don't care nothing about how big your heart is. They want to know how far you can get them in life. And if it ain't far enough, they will walk out on you. And God is telling you, I need you to guard your heart. And you were so immature with who you allowed in your life that God allowed you to learn from your mistakes. And the moment you started to learn from your mistakes, they weren't mistakes at all anymore. They became lessons. And lessons always turn into blessings. Isn't it funny how the next time you get in a relationship, you're going to know how to pray about a friendship. You're going to know how to pray about a certain friend group. You're going to know how to pray about a relationship. You're going to know how to pray about an ex or somebody that's coming in the disguise of a boyfriend or a girlfriend. You're going to know how to pray about it. But before, you would have just accepted them into your life with open arms, not even taking it to God, and then wondering why you end up hurt. People catch you off guard. A coworker actually, if you just want to go out one day and you just automatically agree. You too quick to agree with relationships. You too quick to agree in the spirit. Your spirit don't even want to be around these people. And you got to find out sooner than later. You got to find out later, once you spend the time with these people, they're not nothing like you. Instead of taking it to God before you even say yes. Hold on, let me go and pray about that. And if people got a problem with that, they don't need to be in your life, and they don't deserve to spend time with you. People got a problem with you taking a relationship back to God, a friendship back to God. You know how many people will come into your life and say, God sent me to talk to you. And then you say, okay, well, let me go take it to God. And they get offended by it. In this season, we take everything back to the Lord. And I want to let you know something. If you had family, just like Joseph, who betrayed you, sometimes God will allow people to break your heart in order for you to be on a path alone by yourself so that you can fulfill destiny. If Joseph's brothers never would have threw him in the pit, they never would have isolated him. And if Joseph never would have got isolated, he never would have been able to be built in silence. God built him to be a king in silence. God built Joseph to be a ruler in silence. God is building you to be, you want to know why your family rejected you and you sitting there by yourself and you feel like nobody understands you and you feel like you can't turn to nobody, because God is building you in silence. He needed people to isolate you. In order for people to make you feel isolated, they had to reject you. You had to be pushed away from your family members. They had to push you away. Some people you wanted to be so close with and they just kept pushing you away. You didn't understand that God needed that to happen in order to strengthen you, in order to get you alone, in order to make you the leader you need to be by yourself, in order to pour into you. Because, see, understand something? Because when God was pouring into you before, because you was around so many people, they was pouring out what God was pouring in. They was draining you. And God said, I can't have this happening anymore. I need you to be filled to capacity. I need you to be filled to the brim when I set you out on this next mission. I need to make a statement out of you. And some of you, you're about to be a statement of what it looks like to be isolated, but blessed by God. God made a statement out of Joseph. He said, I don't care what I caught this son. You pushed him into the pit, but I raised him up to be a leader, a ruler over many. I raised him up to that. Now you got to come and ask him. The same one you rejected, the same people that rejected you, they're going to have to come and ask you, can you help me? Can you do this? You pushed him away. They pushed you away so that later on and down the line, God will allow you to provide for them. You got some family that rejected you since birth. Later on down the line, you're going to be the reason why they still alive. You're going to be the reason why they make it. You're going to be the reason why they don't get evicted. You're going to be the reason why they're not homeless. You're going to be the reason why they get a good doctor and they don't die from their sickness. I don't know who needs to hear this, but God is putting you, God allowed them to reject you, to push you into isolation so that God can build your character in isolation. God can build your character with no interference. You know how many times that God was telling you something and you knew it was from God, but then somebody go and say something that opposes, that's opposite of what God just told you to do, that opposite of what God just told, who God just told you to leave, what God just called you to do. Somebody go and say, well, I don't think you should do that, and you listen to them because you love them or you're trying to please them, and you stop the calling of God over your life because of the interference, the interactions you have with others. God needed you to not be able to interact with nobody in this season. That's why you had to go through. That's why people broke your heart and you love them. Because God said that when I pour into you in this season, when I isolate you in this season, nobody will get parts of this. Only person that can say they did something for you is me. So it's two things. God was teaching you how to guard your heart for the next season, for the next relationships, because you can only be as strong as you are for others, as strong as you are for yourself. You can only love others as much as you love yourself. And God was allowing people to push you away, to break your heart in order to set you, to put you in a pit by yourself. Imagine how Joseph how heartbroken he must have felt after his family rejected him. But you think he cared when God increased him? No. He forgot about all of those things. Well, he didn't really forget. But out of sight, out of mind. I'm not saying fully forget. What I'm saying is get it out of your sight. Get it out of your mind. And when it's time for you to remember again, be humble. Don't go and remember and be arrogant like, oh, you did this and I'm not helping you. No. When it was time, all that time that God was working with Joseph may have thought about his family once or twice, but no, real talk, Joseph was being built by God. He didn't have time. God turned him into a king. He was a slave. He was considered a peasant. He was working in Potiphar's house as a slave. He was being sold into slavery. Then he was a prisoner in jail. You think he had time to really dwell on the past and what his brothers did? Yeah, he may have thought about it once or twice, but it was out of sight, out of mind, because that whole time he knew God was building him into a leader. He knew why he was taking lashes. He knew why he was clashing with the devil. He knew why he was, when he felt like he was about to collapse, he knew that God was strengthening him. He didn't have time to be mad and upset. And when God brought him back in the presence of his brothers, when his brothers came back and needed his help, then he remembered, oh yeah, I remember what you did, but you know what? God built me up so much. In this season, God is going to build you up so much that you ain't even going to be able to do wrong when the people that did you wrong come back asking for help. God worked on him so much in that pit. God is working on you so much. God allowed some people to break your heart and damage you so much to the point where they isolated you, they rejected. You went into a deep depression after that last breakup, after that ex had your heart and crumbled it. And God is only strengthening you in this season to the point where when people come back asking for your help, and I ain't saying you're going to go back to them. I said they're going to come back to you. Hear me out. Hear the word of the Lord. People will come back knocking on your door, begging to be in your life again. And you're going to remember there's going to be a time and a place. There's a time and a place under Ecclesiastes tells us that. There's a time and a place there's a time for everything and a place for everything under the sun and the moon. There's a time and a place for you to remember again. But right now, you don't got time to remember. I don't got time to remember what you did to me. When God wants to jog my memory again, I'm going to remember, but I'm not going to feel the same emotions I felt. Because I will never let you betray me the way you. I will never let you. I have a guarded heart now. See, when these people come back around you, you're not going to let them in the way you let them loose in your life before. Let them wreak havoc. Let them have their way with your emotions, with your heart, with your feelings. Because you're smarter, you're mature, you're more wiser, you're stronger. So you know what, it didn't stop Joseph from loving his brothers, because Joseph still loved his brothers enough to help them. Because if Joseph didn't help them, they would have died. They would have starved to death. You're still going to be able to love people enough to help them. But guess what? You ain't going. God is going to make you so much more mature. I remember you sold me into slavery. I don't got nothing against you. But I know what you're capable of. And God will also work on the people that sold you into your slavery, the people that the people that destroyed your name, your legacy, the people that tried to come against you. God will work on them too. But if you haven't been hurt by somebody and brokenhearted by somebody that you love, I want to let you know something. Maybe it was all God's timing. Maybe it was all God's alignment. Maybe it wasn't really for your failure. Mistakes become lessons and lessons become blessings. Maybe it was to build you. Maybe it was to get you here, watching this video, get you all alone with God. Get you all alone in your pain. So God can turn your poverty and your pain into peace and prosperity.